We have a PR position. Have
Yeah,
you ever
you
worked
do.
in that kind of thing? You
PR.
might want to consider, I
Well,
don't know. You
I don't know.
bring
I
your
mean,
resume?
I'm pretty aggressive. Yeah, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, you're a little bit of a close talker, but we could.
But this is the deal. I don't like offices. You know, I have to be out in the field doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, we have sales positions, which that's
okay.
exactly what happens. They're out in the field all day, every day.
Good stuff. All right, so let's talk about your beer because
Yes.
you guys have an estimated, what, 440 employees here, is that right?
That is correct.
And you guys are expanding. Talk about that.
Well, we've been expanding for the 15 years that we've existed. We've averaged annual growth of about 40% a year for the last 15 years.
Wow.
So expansion has been our norm from day one.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And in your own words, what makes you successful?
What makes us successful is the fact that we refuse to dumb down and refuse to pander. Instead, we focus on excellence and quality. You know, let's raise that six-pack up again. This is the look of job recovery right here in the United States. You know, really beyond just craft beer, it's entrepreneurs, it's small businesses that are connected to the community, that are going the opposite direction of the conglomerate norms, instead of doing things that are unique and special. And that's all we've tried to do. Fortunately, I think in a lot of ways we've been able to do that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I can't wait to that new hotel. Oh yeah, you better give me the hookup. How about that?
Hotel is well, you know, in hotel that phrase could mean a variety of things. So it's right across the street.
Yeah, let's make this very clear. New hotel that Stone Brewing Company is actually opening up next year.
It'll be 2013, yes.
All right.
I hope maybe early 14, and then the Stone Brewing World Bistro and Gardens in Liberty Station, hopefully later this year.
All right, Mr. Greg Cook, thank you so much, as always. Hey guys, only here in Escondido. You still have some time if you want more information. Just come on down. The exact address is 1999 Citricado Parkway, or go to stonebrew.com/jobs. All right, back to you guys in the station. Have a good morning.
All right, thank you, Ruben, so much.
Thank you.
Well, the folks at Stone Brewing would be the very first folks to tell you, drink responsibly. But what does that mean when it comes to our young people, and how do they perceive that message? Well, Dr. Alexandra Dretsoun is here once again this morning to talk to us about Alcohol Awareness Month and trying to get that message across in some kind of an effective way. Because, you know, as we're illustrating here, it's all around us in society these days.
Definitely. I think that alcohol and drinking is integrated into the fabric of our society, and I think that our youth do see and notice that adults drink and they want to be grown up, and so they start to experiment as well. And we find that by age 15, 50% of our youth has already tried alcohol. And that's a very scary statistic.
And in our society, we kind of tend to take alcohol abuse and set it aside from what most people think of as drugs. And yet, this is a drug. Alcohol is a drug, and it's the drug of choice in America.
It is the drug of choice, even among our youth, more than tobacco or any other illicit drug. And what people don't realize, because it's legalized, they think it's safer, which is not true. Alcohol causes more deaths than all other drugs combined. So it can be very problematic if we're not very careful with it.
And not to denigrate our young people at all, but just as a scientific fact, the brain has not developed to the degree yet for them to form good judgment. And I don't think a lot of parents are willing to face that fact. They think, well, if I just tell them the facts, and then if they make a bad decision, well, that's there's nothing I can do about it. Parents need to understand how a teenager's mind works.
Right. I mean, one, their brains aren't developed enough, and as a result, their thinking and judgment is more likely to be impaired, and their brain hasn't developed fully, so this part of the front brain, which helps us learn to control our impulses, has not been established yet until the early 20s, which is why kids can be more impulsive and make really bad decisions when they drink. So we do want children to refrain until they are of drinking age.
And of course, just this last week we saw just another horrible example, and I don't know, that the tests are conclusive or not as to whether alcohol was involved in this street racing accident. We know from some Twitter posts, some Facebook posts, that the kids that died out there on the 52 freeway near Convoy were at least at a party where alcohol was being consumed, pot was being smoked, and that's just coming from the Twitter posts and Facebook pages of all these other kids, where they were kind of bragging about it. And it was like, oh, we were having a great time. Well, yeah, it was a great time, up until the obvious tragedy here.
Right. I mean, these are one of the great risks with consuming alcohol for underage underage youth is that, it could increase the likelihood of injury or death. In addition, that could include addiction, health problems, anxiety, depression, and then also risky sexual behavior. There's a lot of problems that occur as a result of drinking, especially for someone who's underage and really doesn't know how to drink responsibly, or their brains aren't capable of handling the alcohol consumption.
And then you see somebody like Amanda Bynes. I know that you had put a notation in here about that. That's a young girl that I watched grow up. My daughter, was one of her big fans and enjoyed the show. She's been a guest here on this program. She's 26 now, and she gets stopped for drunk driving after sideswiping a police car.
I know. I mean, poor judgment. It doesn't matter what age. If people are drinking too much, they cannot make rational decisions, and they're impaired, and they could create all sorts of problems for themselves, including legal ones.
Well, fortunately, in this case, she wasn't injured. Nobody was hurt. But let's try to help parents out here a little bit. Let's try to line things out for them and give them at least some solid tips that they can use and things they can actually put into practice.
Well, most importantly, children need to speak to their parents about this. So parents need to come to their kids and talk to them openly and honestly about the effects of alcohol, the risks, their expectations, and to give them any advice. And not scare them. Don't use scare tactics, but outline what are the true risks of using alcohol underage, and then teaching them to say no. And I also think it's really important that parents lead by example, and that they drink in moderation. So that's going to be very important.
And some of the things we were putting up there on the screen right there were warning signs. If you see that your kids are suddenly changing friends, they're having problems in school, and
secrecy.
And secrecy
is a big one with activities or possessions. Those are all signs that parents should be looking for.
Okay, Dr. Alexandra Jetsoon, always good to see you. Thank you so much. It's Alcohol Awareness Month. And folks, if you don't do anything other than at least talk to your kids about this, stats have proven over and over again, if parents just talk with their kids about things, believe it or not, it does start to sink in.
Yes.
It makes a difference. All right, good to see you.
Thanks.
All right, when is the right time to buy or sell? Well, that's the big question in this real estate market. 5 things, though, that every homeowner should consider before putting their house on the market. We're going to ask Big Daddy, our real estate expert, Brian Garrity, to help us out here in just a moment when San Diego Living comes right back.